Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here, and here's your latest housing market update. In today's video, I'm going to share two really eye-opening reports that was actually just announced today, which is the 27th of July. The first report has to do with mortgage applications because the number of people submitting loan applications right now is at a 22-year low. On top of that, the National Association of Realtors just announced today as well that pending home sales have decreased by double digits compared to 1 year ago as well. So two bombshell reports here that I'm going to be going over in today's video. So hope you guys enjoy this video. And of course, if you do, please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Also consider subscribing, of course, as well. I post the latest housing market trends so you guys can make a more informed decision about where you should be buying or sell a house. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the video here. Again, this is according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. They release a weekly survey regarding the number of mortgage applications that home buyers and people looking to refi are doing across America. So they reported today, and this is for the week ending July 22nd, that mortgage applications decreased 1.8% from 1 week ago. This is for total mortgage applications, which of course includes refis plus purchases. So this decrease of 1.8% compared to 1 week ago may not sound like a lot, but this is the lowest levels in mortgage applications in at least 22 years here. So what the Mortgage Bankers Association does is they break this down by refis and also purchases. In other words, people submitting applications in order to refi or to buy houses. So the refi index actually decreased 4% compared to the previous week. But look at this, down 83% compared to 1 year ago. This, of course, is because mortgage rates have been increasing greatly, right? The unadjusted purchase index, which of course is an index based on people submitting loan applications to buy houses, decreased 0.4% compared to the previous week, but decreased 18% compared to the same week 1 year ago. And according to Joel Kahn, who's one of the MBA's vice presidents, he stated the following here. Mortgage applications declined for the fourth consecutive week to the lowest level of activity since February 2000. This includes refis plus purchases though, so let's have a look at purchase applications because that's a better indication of our housing market for home buyers right now. So here's a graphic showing the purchase index over time. So again, this is an index based on people submitting loan applications to buy houses right now. So the index right now is at 206.4. If we actually exclude the onset of this pandemic, which of course was around April 2020, if we exclude that, the current levels right now are at the lowest levels since November 14th, 2016. So it's pretty remarkable how we had this big turnaround ever since the spring months of this year because this spring, our housing market was in full swing, but ever since mortgage rates hit about 5% on average across the United States, home buying demand has been decreasing greatly. And Joe Kahn basically went on to say the following here. Weakening purchase applications in the recent months here, of course, is consistent with data showing a slowdown in home sales for brand new houses as well as existing houses as well. This is a potential silver lining in the housing market, though, as stabilizing mortgage rates and increases of housing inventory may bring some buyers back to the market during the second half of this year. So I would say this is kind of like a double-edged sword. Buyers right now looking to buy a house may see a lot of options for houses for sale right now because we're seeing this increase of housing inventory, which of course gives more options for home buyers right now. That's obviously a positive sign. One thing I have to say though is that home prices have not decreased greatly just yet because we have seen this increase of housing inventory, but we haven't seen this giant decrease in home prices. So yes, we may have more options for houses out there to buy, but home prices still remain very much elevated, especially compared to 2 years ago. Also, I have to say that home buying demand has been pulling back greatly over the past couple of months here, as it's been important to you guys. So one of those trends we're seeing right now is a big decrease in pending home sales. This is actually just a new report that was announced from the National Association of Realtors today at the time of this video, which is the 27th, and pending home sales fell 8.6% in June. And again, a pending home sale is when a home seller accepts an offer from home buyer. That's a pending home sale and ultimately becomes a closed home sale about 30 days later, depending on where you live. In any case here, take a look at this because they're saying that houses are 80% more expensive in June 2022 than in June 2019. This, of course, is because mortgage rates have been increasing greatly. And of course, we're seeing near record high home prices as well across the United States. This, of course, is one of the main reasons why we're seeing home buyers really backing out this housing market due to a lack of housing affordability. Well, according to the National Association of Realtors, pending home sales decreased in June, falling a slight, I would say a very slight increase in May. More on that here in just a little bit. All four major regions in the US posted a month-over-month as well as a year-over-year decrease in pending home sales, the largest of which occurred actually in the West. And the National Association of Realtors Pending Home Sale Index is a forward-looking indicator of home sales based on contract signings. In other words, this is an early indicator of our housing market and what's expected to come in the next couple of months because this is really when a contract is signed and not a closed home sale. In any case, it dipped 8.6% in June, but take a look at this. On a year-over-year basis, contracts signed sank 20%. So this giant decrease of 20% compared to 1 year ago is something we should definitely pay attention to. This is a big news because the index right now is at a very, very low level, and more on that here in just a little bit. But here's a table I pulled from the National Association of Realtors, which shows their index overall across the United States over the past 12 months, and also compared to the past few years as well, but also compared to the four major regions here as well. So our index right now is at 91.0. And besides this small blip or a small increase we saw in May, which only increased by 0.4, besides that small increase in May, the index has been decreasing since November 2021. And of course, I did some digging for you guys and actually found some historical trends for their index. So their index right now at 91.0. If we exclude the onset of this pandemic, this is the lowest level since September 2011. Yes, you heard me correctly. This is the lowest levels of contracts signed since September of 2011. So obviously we're seeing this big pullback in home buying demand right now, which is a clear indication we're seeing this housing market shift right now. So take a look at this because their index right now at 91.0. Take a look at 1 year ago. The index was 113.7. Also compared to 2019 through 2021, it was over 100, of course. So now we're at levels we have not seen since the onset of this pandemic. But before that, of course, September 2011, which is pretty eye-opening. Let's have a look at the index based on the region, though. The West actually decreased the most on a month-to-month basis, as well as a year-over-year basis. This is also the case, if I'm remembering correctly. We also saw the biggest decrease in the West for existing home sales as well, or closed home sales, according to the National Association of Realtors as well, I believe. Anyways, take a look at this. So in the West, it decreased by almost 16% in one single month, and also decreased by almost a third compared to 1 year ago. And also for these other three major regions here, pending home sales decreased by double digits from a year ago. And here's a graphic showing the changes compared to 1 month ago. So in the Midwest, decreasing by 3.8%, the Northeast decreasing by 6.7% on a month-over-month basis, the South decreasing by almost 9%, but look at the West decreasing by almost 16%. So going back to this report from the National Association of Realtors, their chief economist, who's Lawrence Yoon, had this to say: contract signings, which again is pending home sales, to buy a home will keep tumbling down as long as mortgage rates keep climbing. There are indications that mortgage rates may be topping out or leveling out, and if so, pending contracts should also begin to stabilize. So obviously one of the reasons why we're seeing this big pullback in contracts signed is due to rising mortgage rates. And he's actually correct that we're starting to see some early signs that mortgage rates have been stabilizing. And here's the latest trends we have from the Mortgage News Daily. So as of today, which is the 27th of July, the average 30-year fix is at 5.54%. That's an increase by 2.68 percentage points compared to 1 year ago, when rates averaged 2.86%. That's pretty crazy, right? 1 year ago, rates were under 3%. Now we're hovering just under 6%. But regarding mortgage rates stabilizing, he's absolutely right, because mortgage rates have decreased about 75 basis points since the middle of June, when the average 30-year fix was approximately 6.28%. Now rates are at 5.54%. Also, the Federal Reserve announced today that they're increasing the federal funds rate by 75 basis points as expected. The street was expecting this by a 75% probability. And in response to that, the 10-year U.S. Treasury note, or the yield on that, basically is flat today. The yield is at 2.736% at the time of this video here. So in other words, because the Fed increased the federal funds rate in line with expectations, the yield did not spike. Therefore, I would expect mortgage rates to basically stabilize this week unless we have other economic indicators that come into fruition. And going back to this report here, according to NAR, buying a home in June 2022 was about 80% more expensive than in June 2019, which is absolutely mind-blowing and honestly very sad. Obviously, we need home prices to decrease greatly in order for housing to be more affordable, right? Nearly a quarter of buyers who purchased a home 3 years ago would be unable to do so now because they no longer can earn the qualifying income to buy a median price home today. In other words, home prices have increased greatly over the past few years, but we haven't seen wage gains increase at the same levels. That's why buying a home this June is 80% higher compared to 3 years ago. And because of these headwinds that home buyers are facing right now, the National Association of Realtors is predicting that home sales are going to decrease by 13% this year. So comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value out of today's video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.